What are the 6 items people forget to put in their bug out bags or in their get home bags? Number 6, because I'm going to do this in reverse order. In modern times, we have a tendency to do the traditional things, fire, water, shelter, food, but we forget about batteries. Batteries are one of the most important things to put in your bug out bag, because if you can call someone, if you can use a Garmin texting satellite device, if you have the ability to communicate, a lot of times you don't really have an actual survival situation. Since we're going in reverse order with one of the less important things in the front, I'm going to talk about food. Why is food less important? Because there's so many other things that are going to kill you before food. But a lot of people will create kits without food, or they'll make food with those big dry carbohydrate bags, and they're just empty calories. They just make you feel like trash afterward. It's like your brain's spinning, but it doesn't have anything to actually fuel it. So get something with some protein in it. Get something that's satiating. Get something like jerky, and then add it to your carbohydrate bars if that's something you really want to do. Don't be afraid of Snickers. It can freeze. Get some sort of food. Water. Now, why am I saying water's not one of the most important things? Well, because if you can get rescued and you're not freezing to death, you can go a couple days without water, but water is still very important. One of the things that I like is a purification device, something that's lightweight, something you can throw in your bag. One of these little squeeze water systems, one of these little Sawyer bags works good because you can just load it up and then squirt it through the filter and drink water straight out of a stream. Water boiling, okay? In wintertime, if you take some sort of a water purification device that goes through a strainer, it's gonna freeze. Unless you stick it in your coat with you, it's gonna freeze. So the winter solution for water purification or water killing of biological germs is to boil something. Get a canteen or something like this, this is a little solo stove. It's got a nice little cooker. You can burn sticks underneath and cook it. There's lots of options. I personally like the larger the better, because you can either boil this 4 times a day or you can boil a half-gallon one twice a day. So water is super important. Number 3, communication, okay? Got my phone here. Everyone's gonna have their phone. We already talked about batteries to keep it charged up. If you can communicate, most of the time, shoot, move, and communicate, you've got the ability to prevent the disaster, to get your backup, your buddies to come, or to be extracted from the problem. Now, I want to take communication to an even deeper level. I take people out on the desert for 3 days to a week at a time. We live off the desert. That can be dangerous. So I have a Garmin InReach device, okay? This InReach device gives me the ability to, 1, have maps and waypoints and text messaging information so that I can find locations. Maybe I've got another buddy with one of these. I send them a text. They see my location with the text. They reply. I see their location with the text. And 2, open up this little SOS thing on the side, push the magic button, and get the helicopter to come. I would say this combination of a cell phone and a Garmin InReach texting device, because it's not super expensive to give me satellite communications, is one of the best comms answers available anywhere. I can leave this thing off. I can turn it on, run the software on the phone so that I don't have to manually text things. Super compatible, a great solution for comms right here. If you don't have the ability to buy one of these, and they're actually fairly expensive. I spend $5 a month on this after purchasing the device. You can throw in a ham radio, but now you have a steeper learning curve, a bunch of data you need to put in that ham radio, and you gotta hope someone else is on the other line. There's always gonna be someone on the other line with this, and I can always communicate as long as I can see the southern sky. And this works most of the time, but not always. So that's why I pair them both together. Fire. We're down to number 2. Number 2 is fire. Why? Because with fire, I can shelter myself. I can boil that water. I can cook food. I can make future jerky. I can do so many things with fire. So not only fire, but fire in redundancy, and fire with tinder. Tinder is the most important thing that people forget. They bring lighters, but then they try to light a green stick on fire. What they really need is the ability to transition from that lighter to a burning pile of something for about 5 to 15 minutes that will start the tinder, the kindling, and the fuel on fire. It's a lot easier to start an actual fire when you've got some sort of kindling. I've got some Hell's Fire right here. This stuff goes up like magic gas. I can start many fires with this little patch here because I just pull a pinch of it off, light the fibers on fire, and it's good to go. I have a road flare. Road flares are kind of cool because they burn and burn and burn. Some will even burn underneath water. They're a little bit heavier and they're a one-time use. But if you're really in the muck, it's been hailing and snowing for 12 hours, all of your fuel is wet, this is a Hail Mary that's super important. Something that's kind of new that I really like, I've got a dark energy flashlight here, okay? Simple flashlight, that's handy, but the more important thing is that it's got on the back of it a little plasma torch here, a little plasma fire. So if I start this right there, starting to burn, just put it right above it, that little plasma arc will start all sorts of stuff on fire. And if you have some sort of like a goal zero device, I can recharge my lighter, throw a solar panel on that. Now I'm using the sun to start my fires. Now the number one biggest fail that people have in get home bags or bug out bags. They have a lot of other really cool stuff that I'm not even gonna mention. They've got ammunition. They've got medical, super important. They've got their firearms. That's stuff that needs to be in your bug out bag. What they don't seem to ever have is insulation. Insulation. If you have the right kind of coat, you have an extra pair of wool socks, you have stuff that can keep you warm, that's the most important. Because realistically, that's the thing that's going to kill you first. The majority of people that die in survival situations die from exposure. Exposure means you get too hot in that Arizona sunlight, or you get too cold in that Idaho winter. So if you've got a bug out bag, or you've got some sort of get home bag, the first thing that needs to go in there, you know, in addition to the communications, is insulation. Give yourself the ability to sit at 2 o'clock in the morning on a little log and just wait through the night until the next morning, which means you need a lot of insulation to keep yourself warm.
I'm Jason Salyer with Survival Dispatch, and when disaster strikes, will you be ready? Power outages, natural disasters, economic collapse, and the knowledge, the skills, and equipment necessary to protect your family when it really, really matters. You can gain instant access to our team of survival experts, stockpiling food, medical necessities, communication plans, proven techniques to help you get home, shelter in place, or bug out safely. Don't leave your family's safety to chance. Visit survivaldispatch.com to get started.
Another little solution for insulation that I have in here is a Soul Escape bivvy. Now, I hate crinkle blankets, I really do, because if you actually use them and you wrap up in them in some sort of a shelter that you've created, you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning just dripping in sweat and swampy. This is a breathable crinkle blanket. It's actually a bivvy shelter that can go around your whole body, but it breathes. So it has the reflective ability to have the heat retention, which means there's a high insulation value for something so small, but it breathes as well. So I would suggest something like this bivvy shelter. It's lightweight, I can throw it in addition to what I should have been wearing, which is the right kind of clothes, and it's a great insulation solution for your bug out bag. Lastly, I used to always tell people to have a flashlight in their pocket. Back in the day when you didn't have a flashlight connected to your phone. So the reason we want to do that is if I was in this building right now and an earthquake hits and the building comes down on me, I need a flashlight. Now, yes, I have one on my phone, but I also like to have one in addition to that. Something that I got recently, I've been playing with, is this Ace Beam Terminator M1. It is ridiculously bright. It's got the normal widespread flashlight, and then it's got this focus beam that'll burn your retina right out of your eye. Why do I like this? Well, it's good for spotlighting game, okay? That's a food source, and it's good for search and rescue. I can aim this thing at someone on another mountaintop, especially during the nighttime. They are definitely gonna see it. So consider something that's dual purpose or triple purpose, wide beam, spotlight, and search and rescue device in addition to something that I can use to see what I'm doing. And this thing again, when I pull the battery out, is rechargeable by my battery I've already got. So I can pull my battery out, I can plug in the battery right here, and I can recharge my flashlight, my cell phone, and my lighter all off of one battery pack. maybe 2 battery packs is a good idea as well. All right, that is the top 6 items that you should throw in your bag. That doesn't mean it's all the items that you should throw in your bag. It's just the top 6, the things that people forget on a regular basis. Again, people don't tend to forget firearms. They shouldn't, at least. People don't tend to forget medical. Again, they shouldn't, at least. I've got my tourniquet. I've got my IFAK. I've got even my blood type sitting on the inside of my bag. Got the firearm pocket. Got the extra ammunition. Got extra batteries for my flashlight. Those are things that people kind of get. But they have a tendency to forget stuff like batteries, food, water, communication, fire, and most importantly, insulation or shelter. If I missed something, put it down in the comments link. Thank you to Sophos Survival in Spanish Fork for letting me come into their store and do some filming here. If you guys want to swing by and check them out, look them up here in Spanish Fork, Utah. Go check out Sophos Survival on YouTube, SOPHOS, one of the companies that we like to work with. If you think there's something I should add in the next video, let me know. Thank you to Sophos Survival in Spanish Fork. What are the 6 items people forget to put in their bug-out bags or load into their get-home bags? Dude, that was so close. Go check out Sophos Survival on YouTube. SOPO. Dude.